Hello and welcome to our first episode of UMass Sports Weekly for the year. I'm your host, Casey Johnston. To start off the show, we're going to start talking a little football. To my right, I have Tony Bolduc, and alongside my left is Marc Daily. Now, guys, 2 weeks into the season, just getting started. Replacement refs have been pretty much the big topic of the year. So, how do you guys feel about the refs? Are they causing a problem, or is it just being blown out of proportion?
The refs really aren't as bad as everyone's saying they are. What they said, and the perfect way to explain this is, the only people that are complaining are the teams that are losing. That's the only way you can look at it. It's a new year for them, bring these replacement players in. They don't have as many people as they want to have. The refs they don't have the experience that going into the games that all the refs that we're used to seeing have had. The NFL has taken the steps. Obviously, they haven't reached a contract with the current refs, the ones we've had in years past, and obviously they're working to fix that problem. They've after the preseason, they saw what worked, what didn't work. They brought in these referees, referees into more meetings. They went over more training, and they've been working problems here and there, just week by week, just trying to figure out what's going wrong and how they can fix it. I don't know what you.
The thing is, though, like the way that the refs they've been getting talked to by the players and the coaches. They've been getting pushed around. Like there's nobody that can like back up. They've had people running around trying to help them out, like all around the field, and they're getting bullied by the players. They're just not doing what they need to do, and the NFL needs to step up and pay them the money, because the NFL is the top of the line football league in the United States, and they need to have the top of the line officials officiating that, because if you don't, then it's just going to be a tampered game. Even the teams winning and losing, they're both not happy about it, and the players are going to get hurt because the officials aren't going to let the games out of hand. You've seen a couple brawls here and there. It's just going to get out of hand, and Roger Goodell needs to take the money out of his pockets and give the officials what they need.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, you're looking at the players. They're acting immature. You have a bunch of adult guys athletes, that should be behaving better. As you said, they're going out of control. Out of control. How are they going out of control? They're going out of their way to try to cause these problems, to make the refs look like fools out in the field. If they played the game the way it should be played, it wouldn't be a problem. I mean, they're going out. You look at the Tampa game last week. At the end of the game, they're going after Eli Manning as he's kneeling the ball. How do you, the refs aren't in control of that? Players aren't supposed to do that.
That's true. I agree with that completely. But at the same time, the refs are making different calls because of the way that they're being influenced by the players and coaches. And even the losing teams and winning teams are getting affected by this, because they're not making their own calls. They're high school gym teachers reffing NFL football games. You can't have that. They have guys that are fans of the Saints that get pulled off the field mid-game, and they have fantasy players, everything. There's nothing good about having the replacement refs.
It's more of an adjustment period. I mean, every time the NFL puts in a new rule, it takes a while for the players to get used to it, the teams to get used to it, to see what they can get away with, what they can't get away with. When they put in the new helmet rule, you can't hit to the head. It took a while. It's the same thing that's going on this year. Do we have the different teams that, what's going to happen? We're just still trying to figure this out. Does it work? And until we figure out what the refs are going to call, what they're not going to call. Obviously, missed calls are going to happen. Michael Strahan said today that he's supporting the refs that are out there, the replacement refs, because he's used to having, when he played, he's still complaining. You're still going to complain about the refs, whether they're the replacement refs, the regular refs. I mean, what are you going to do?
That is true.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to watch either way.
Yeah.
People are going to watch the NFL no matter what.
No guy is perfect. No one's perfect. They make mistakes. And it's part of the game, and it's just getting teams to adjust to that, whether or not they can adjust. Don't let the game come down to the last play. Go forward on 4th down in the second quarter if you need to, and do something so you're not dependent on that last play where you're waiting for the ref to decide whether or not it's going to be up to them or not. You go out for it and get the win. Don't let the refs make the decision. You know the refs, right now, maybe they do make a mistake, but you know what? You already know that going into the game. Don't let it come down to that final play where you're putting the game in the ref's hands.
It seems like pretty much so far the players have made a pretty big deal out of it. So Can they adjust is a great question. We don't know yet because they have not been.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We got to talk Pats Cardinals now. Now, as a Pats fan, tough game to watch. Definitely a tough game to
Very
watch.
tough game, especially the end.
Coming down to the end, it was excruciating game to watch. So, how do you guys feel they lost that game? What happened for them to lose that game?
What I think, this was not the Patriots team that I'm used to seeing. You don't see Patriots teams getting field goals blocked, punts blocked in the end zone. You don't see Patriots players getting holding calls when we're going to win the game on a game-winning touchdown. You don't see kickers missing 40-yard field goals. You don't see, wasn't a Patriot game. You see Welker on the sideline. You see Belichick looks flustered, Brady looks flustered, the line looks flustered. Something's not right in the organization, and it showed last game because we did not look like the New England Patriots of old. We looked like a new team that needs a lot of improvement, and it's going to have to come soon.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, you look at this whole idea of winning. Coming into the season, they have a very easy schedule when you look at it. You have a Denver team that's a tough opponent. You got Houston, you got Baltimore, but then you have a bunch of teams that didn't do anything last year. So they're already, before the season even starts, you say, oh, they're going to be going 16-0. They're going to be another perfect. They're going to be another perfect team. And you look at that, and that's already in their head. You got it's crazy. They come in, they think they're better than everyone, and then after beating Tennessee 2 weeks ago, they come in. Everyone's predicting, oh, they're going to go 16-0 this year if they play the way they did against this. And then you come into a game, Hernandez gets hurt in the first quarter of the game. There goes all their hopes. They depend on way too many of individual players. They depend on Hernandez too much. They depend on Gronk too much. They just signed Brandon Lloyd this past year, and he and Brady are already, you can see there's problems existing between them. Brady's overthrowing him because Lloyd's not used to it, and that's something that takes time. But they already got into this notion in their head that regardless of how they play, they're going to be 16-0. And they didn't deserve to win Sunday, and I'm glad they didn't, because you know what? It's a reality check for that team.
It's very true.
Now, it's definitely been tough with them now that, it's going to be tough, I should say, now that Hernandez is out for a few weeks. So that definitely hurts their receiving core. So it's almost been like Welker hasn't even been on the field, too. So what is it that Welker needs to do? How could he help the team? Do they need to get him the ball more? Is it something he's doing?
I think it all dates back to the Super Bowl last year. Ever since then, Wes Welker hasn't even looked the same. He comes on the field for limited snaps because I don't know why. Belichick just doesn't seem to like him. He puts Edelman out there, who's going to be the new Welker when he doesn't come back next year. But the thing that's so weird to me is, if Welker's having such problems, I don't get why we signed him in the first place. He was looking for a long-term deal. If we knew he wasn't going to, if we knew he wasn't going to cooperate and play as hard as he is, then why would we even give him that one deal?
Well, I mean, this whole offense, last year's offense revolved around the tight ends and Welker. We didn't have that deep threat in wide receiver, so it was constant. You go 10 yards down the field and continuous. You go to Gronk, you go to Hernandez, you go to Welker across the slot, right across the middle, and it was just continuous. It's a different offense this year. You have different players. You have Stephen Ridley as a running back. New England's finally developed their running game again, and so the offense doesn't revolve about Welker doesn't need to get 15 passes a game for the team to be successful. They're blowing this way out of proportion. They don't realize it's not because Belichick has this thing against Welker. It's not because Kraft doesn't want Welker to play so they can trade him when some team needs a receiver. It has nothing to do with that. It's just like that's part of the game. When you have your chances, you take advantage of it. And he's still played. Sunday he played. He had 94 yards. He had 5 catches. For most receivers, that's pretty good.
It's a good game.
You go almost 100 yards. And it's just one of those things. When they do put him in the game, he just has to make sure that he can take advantage of it. I'm sure that as the season goes on, injuries happen. I mean, we see Hernandez goes down. Does that mean Welker goes back in more? Edelman, who knows? I mean, last year he got arrested, was suspended by the team. What happens there? How's that going to affect his playing time? They just signed Deion Branch tonight. Is that going to affect it? It's all stuff to look into. But he has to take advantage of it. He can't be sitting on the sideline crying about it,
That's right.
crying to the media about it. Get over it. You're an NFL player. You're making more than, I think the only person that's making more on the Patriots is Tom Brady this year. With the franchise tag, Welker is making top 5 receiver pay, and he doesn't even have to play. Well, enjoy it. Enjoy it. I mean, he's not going to go out. He's not getting hurt drinking water on the sideline. I mean,
I don't want him on the sideline. I want him on the field
Need
catching
him out on the
touchdowns.
field. Exactly, exactly.
I think it goes back, as you said, the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
I think that just killed it, the whole. Everyone, he's not inferior.
Not mentally there.
Yeah, no, and it's just going to be affected all season long. Hopefully, it's not a problem.
Well, just 2 weeks in, so hopefully we see some improvement from Welker. But being 2 weeks in, now we got 6 teams that are 2-0. We got 6 teams that are 0-2. Tony, I'll start with you. Who's your favorite right now that is at the 2-0 record?
2-0 team in the best shape is, I think, the San Francisco 49ers. They picked up big weapons in Randy Moss, Big Randy, and they picked up Mario Manningham. That's going to help Alex Smith completely, like, in about times 100. He's got Franco in the backfield. He has Crabtree to begin with, and their defense is the best in the league, hands down. They have the best run defense. They have two of the best defensive tackles in Aldon Smith and Justin Smith. They have Delaney Walker. They have Vernon Davis coming off tight ends. They have weapons everywhere all over the field. I think they're in great shape. It's all going to come down to how good Alex Smith can play throughout the whole year. And I think he's going to succeed because he has such good weapons.